This right here is my goal, and I want to see it in survival since there's no point in watching this if you can't get caught. Today, my goal is to witness this impossibility as quickly as possible by combining the two biggest dangers from two very different biomes, and oh yeah, we're gonna do it as a speed run, so let's get this started. First, we need to answer the surprisingly not so obvious question of how do we do this? Do we bring the creaking to the warden or the other way around? And how do we avoid dying to a very hostile mob while this whole thing goes down? Well, Skulk Shriekers are the best place to start because they require Silk Touch to pick up, and when moved, they stop working and summoning the warden. Therefore, we're probably going to have to bring the creaking to the warden because creaking hearts can be crafted, so if we just get resin and pale wood, we can bring that to an ancient city. This is still going to require one of the rarest biomes and one of the rarest structures to be somewhat near each other, and without looking for a good world seed, this would take hours to find, and so since we're doing a set seed speedrun, how do we find a seed that's good enough? Well, thankfully, I found a very great seed as part of my best seeds of 2024 video, and this is incredible because it has both of these things connected together by a beautiful open lush cave. So you really can go from one rare place to another very, very quickly, and so all I needed to do was to make sure there was some viable way to quickly get from one to the other. If I was going to get the creaking, I'd need a creaking harp, which is crafted using resin, so I'd need to break at least a few of those, and so what I did is remove all of the trees in creative and made note of exactly where the creaking hearts were so I could jump from one to the other as quickly as possible so that we could do our speed run in my goal time of 6 minutes or less. And so what I did is I took this knowledge and just decided I was going to start doing a run because I've tried theory crafting over the years a lot of times, and it's really fun to make these grand ideas in your head, but something you realize very quickly is that basically no plan survives contact with reality, and so actually trying something is one of the best ways to learn. And so okay, it's all ready. We're going to be following speedrun rules here, so the moment we make a first movement, the timer begins, and my goal is to do this in 5 minutes or less. Let's go. Attempt number 1 taught me that I need to have a more solid way down there because if you die before getting to the ancient city, you can't have anything happen in there, and so that's exactly what I learned. While on attempt number 2, I realized that, oh yeah, on attempt number 1, even if I'd have made a creaking, it would have been at 5 or 6 minutes in, and the creaking's not going to spawn till nighttime. This made me realize I need to take advantage of speedrunning rules, which dictate that the timer starts not when you load up your world, but instead when you start interacting with the game, and so I needed to have at least 5 minutes be wasted that way, and that's exactly what happened. Then after I finally had waited my 5 minutes, I had a pretty good run. I got down there with everything intact. I built my creaking, and then I was ready for the warden to fight him, but the creaking was just nowhere to be found. Even if the creaking spawns and he's right in front of the warden, how is he going to attract the warden's attention? He is a very smell and sound-based person, and the creaking is a very weird, quiet guy. You know, it's part of why they have such great chemistry, in my opinion, but actually getting that match to be made is one of the hard bits of this challenge. So I thought about this a little bit longer and realized, okay, what will cause a creaking to make a sound is if he's trying to come towards you, the player, and specifically if he has to move along blocks in a fun way. And so fluids were my plan, and so I built myself the creaking heart right next to some water, but this is what happened. Okay, so that's bad, right? That's not a good thing. He's running towards that noise. He's running towards me, I would even say. And yet, okay. GG. Okay, on attempt 7, I learned that even though the creaking is made out of wood, he makes no real effort to avoid lava, and so I need to specifically lure him out because the warden and the creaking, when they're that hot together, you know, they just don't really seem as interested in each other. It's a bit more of a violence than a friendly, jostling with each other, and so on attempt 8, I had learned everything I think I needed to learn, and so here's the speed run in full. Okay, let's do this. There is a lot that's left to chance, but I'm going to give it my best shot to see if I can get the warden and the creaking together in 6 minutes or less. And indeed, like every Minecraft run, even the ones where you're not looking for love, I'm going to start by chopping down a tree. In fact, specifically chopping down the tree at 50 minus 11, which is just over here. We are going to be doing, 50 11, which is just over here. We are going to be chopping 3 pieces of wood first, and indeed, this is because we're trying to optimize out as much of this as we can and get as much time made as quickly as possible, and a part of that means acknowledging that yes, wood tools are the worst, and I would say the wooden axe is the worst of the wooden tools, but it's still going to shave off just a little bit of time every time we break one of these creaking hearts, which is disastrously long, at least in terms of a speed run, and so this should speed up our process at least a little bit. We're hoping for free resin each time, and so when we get that free resin, I feel very good, and then we run straight over to the second tree we're going to be taking on, which is just over here. We chop that from just behind this piece of pale oak, and as you can see, after 3 more blocks, that is a second creaking heart. They all require a lot of chopping trees because they're deliberately meant to be hidden inside, but once you know where they're going to be found, and once you get some good luck with your resin, that's not what we got today, but we had fine enough luck, then we are good to go. I'm going to immediately turn these into pale oak planks because I do need some blocks for today's challenge to work, and I'm going to try and keep as much of the rest in the log form because you need that for crafting all the ingredients. Okay, so now we're going to sprint across this biome. I am feeling okay about most of the start of this. I still don't feel so great about my odds of actually getting the mobs together. It seems like it's a tricky one, but again, I'm hoping that all of that goes away by the time that we get down there. I'm hoping the creaking and the warden will realize their natural, affection for each other, and so I'm hoping that that is where things will go just fine. However, we do need to create some noise, and we need to make sure that, or rather, we need the creaking to create some noise, which is something that is seemingly not on his to-do list. His only to-do list is seemingly ruining your life, which, very relatable. I've had many partners like that, and I just think that it's totally okay. We got to accept certain people's different cultures, and for some people, their culture is ruining your life, and I think we have to accept that's where the warden's going. Now what we have to accept is, okay, that is 2 more. We need now, again, it's not a choice, it's not it would be nice to have. It is a requirement that we get 2 resin from the next drop. That is a 2 in 3 chance, because the drops are 1, 2, or 3. So I'm still feeling good about it, but there is a real chance our run falls apart right now if when we chop down our final creaking heart, we do not get 2 resin. So I'm hoping the run doesn't fall apart, and I'm feeling okay about that fact, because it's one of the easiest creaking hearts to get to, and I'm just feeling lucky today. Maybe wrongly. In fact, we're about to find out if wrongly, but 2 in 3 are so good odds, they basically come out to 100%, right? Like, what are the odds of it not happening that way? The answer is, thankfully not today. I felt like I was being too cocky, but it didn't come out that way, and that's just great. Now we make a resin block, we make a creaking heart, and we are going deep underground. We are just over 3 minutes in, that's pretty good time, but we need to make sure we get down quickly, so we just have to jump into these bodies of water. We could use these if we wanted to. Like, we could, jump. If we break this block, some water will fall down, but we ultimately don't have the time. We're running through the beautiful pale garden and just hoping, or rather, beautiful lush cave, and just hoping that nothing seems to want to kill us, which somehow is a working strategy. We're going to use basically all our blocks to get into here, and then we break some of that down because we run out of water that we can fall into. Now, at this point, we kind of just have to awkwardly wait. Is it nighttime? I don't really know inside of a cave like this. It wasn't the last time I looked. So let's fall down this as much as we can, taking as little fall damage as possible. And then we have to start activating the shriekers, because you get 3 shriek warnings before the warden activates. So that means I can grab some coal, I can grab a diamond hoe, not that that's going to be useful, and we can activate the second one of these just now. Then I'm going to get my creaking heart ready. I want the creaking to be near the, I need it to be near the water here, because that's where the noise comes from. That last run made me realize that you can activate them inside of lava, which is great, but that's not also that useful. This is my 3rd and final warden warning. Now, after this, the warden is going to spawn. And so I just need to find this, I need to find the creaking as soon as possible, and I need to get him to make some noises while creaking around. So, or rather, while sneaking around. Sorry, I've gotten too into this. There we go. There he is. So we want to get him to follow us, and then we want to immediately look around. We are now going to activate the warden, and we're going to get the creaking to follow us through this water. The creaking is going to make a noise the moment we turn around, and that noise is going to attract the warden, hopefully into one-on-one combat, or one-on-one, a little bit more than combat. A physical confrontation of some form should be started. Let's confirm if that's how this will work. The warden is bouncing around the water, which I think has to make some noise. Oh, I think so. Yeah! Okay, I don't have a great view of it right now, but that is 5 minutes and 17 seconds. I have gotten the warden and the creaking to start doing their business. Yes, that is right. Not only did I get to see something I've been looking to do in survival ever since The Garden Awakens released, but also I managed to do it in under my target time of 6 minutes. This is incredibly exciting and a big moment for celebration, and I think if there's one thing we can say at the end here, it's the important reminder that love always finds a way. No matter how mismatched these guys were, no matter how far apart they were, they managed to find a place where they could actually have this lovely moment happen, and it was all thanks to your boy. Seriously though, I hope that this video does teach you that dumb challenges are sometimes just as fun as the good ones, and Minecraft is a sandbox game where you can set anything as your objective, but if you want to set this one where you can use this seed and all of these informations that you got from this video to hopefully try and beat my time, can you say these informations? I feel like it's this information. But if you want to see disinformation, make sure you don't subscribe to the channel, because this is where you can learn the latest for Minecraft updates, and I hope that I'll see you in a future video. Goodbye.